the intro.
All right, we're back another Saturday on our Black Media Network with the Watch Dogs at noon. And today, Julius, we have a special guest, Miss Tia Brightwell.
Very special
How you
guest.
doing?
We are well. How are you doing today?
I can't complain. Can't
All right.
complain. Can't complain. Kind of in my little fit today. You know, my little workout fit. A little, you know. So
Okay.
please excuse me.
Yes, you are inspiring us all. So,
Yeah,
but
that's
yes,
right.
Yes,
You
sir.
work,
Yes, sir.
you working, you putting the work in, and we all recognize it. We see it out there, and just keep doing what you're doing. It's a time for
I appreciate
everything.
it.
Your time is coming pretty soon.
that's right.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
so Tia, tell us about who you are and why you made the decision to hop into the city council race.
So, I mean, so let's start here. My name is Tia Brightwell. I am a native of Savannah, Georgia, born and raised right here. I am a mother of four. My kids, they are age 26. Shout out to Dominique. My
Okay.
daughter Chantel is 24. Shout out to her. And then Jamari and Donald are 15 and 17 years old. So yeah. So I'm a mom, you know what I'm saying? And some days, you know, I think I'm a super mom, right? And then some days I'm not so much a super mom. I have been able to make some companies very successful back in my workforce days. I actually ended up coming out of the workforce in 2013 due to lupus and fibromyalgia. I
Mm,
used to work for the Board of Education as a janitor and a food nutritionist. I used to work at Waffle House. So many jobs I can go on and on and on and on. But when that doctor told me to stop working, I had to do just that. And so it was hard. It was hard. It was stressful. I gained 330 pounds at that time. But now able to just have a holistic life where I'm not on medicines. I am definitely CBD, healthy, eating differently, walking, exercising, just really living my life to inspire people that it can be done. From my perspective, right? And then later on, you would know that I started the TIA Through It All nonprofit in 2019. We're out here educating youth, empowering women, and engaging families in marginalized communities to uplift their voices and provide them with better opportunities and resources. And that's not a brand, that is a brand.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In 2020, I started my own telemarketing company. And people be like, well, what are you doing? So actually, I've been able to work for companies like Carnival Cruise and Walt Disney World from home. And so my gifting is to have agents that are contracted agents that work my platform for me. Right now, I'm at about 13 agents. So every week I reach out to those agents to make sure that they are, searching or looking for a client that they can serve. And make them some money, you know what I'm saying? Make them some revenue. I also, if you don't know, I sing. So I do love to lip sing and kind of act up on TikTok. If you're not following me, that's just laughter, and we need it. We need laughter, we need joy, and however I can do it. I don't want my kids to ever see me in a place again of anxiety or depression. And it's real. Mental health is real in our communities. That's why crime is up. That's why poverty is up. That's why retention and jobs are up, because we don't really look at mental health the way that it should be looked at. And the people that could stand on the platform and talk to you about it is kind of being shut out, moved away, because we are the ones that are coming from trauma, PTSD, and all of those things. But, and I hope I didn't go over too much, but that's just a little bit about who Tia is. I really be chilling. I be chilling, and I have to say it the way that I feel, even for those in my district, because a lot of things happen when we ourselves are chaotic. We make situations chaotic. Yeah, so we got to find peace within ourselves so that we can bring change in. I don't care if you white, black, orange, green, blue. I don't care what you is right now. You got to see change. Change is one color. Equal to people.
Okay, we're gonna welcome Carlton on. And,
Hi, Carlton.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
Hello.
It's Saturday morning.
That is true. So, Julius, Carlton, y'all take it away.
Okay. Well, what makes you different from the current alderperson that is currently in office now? What would you do different?
First of all, what makes me different is I'm non-traditional. I'm not traditional. I'm not coming to the table traditional. I'm coming to the table being creative with ideas that I myself put the work in to do. Okay. And whatever that work looks like for me, I bring it to the table. So firstly, I would be non-traditional. Also, our current alderperson, he is really lost when it comes to the needs of the people in this district, whether they be rich, whether they be working class, or whether they are in poverty, poor. He's disconnected from us. So that's what I would do different. Firstly, is be connected to the people.
Okay.
Secondly, we gotta, get to this place where if we are truly about our youth and investing in them, we gotta put our money where our mouth is. Period. Because they dying. They dying. I just was at a forum where they asked a question about crime, and the person doesn't even know that crime it is high in our Chatham County, Savannah, Georgia. It's high. It's high, and we are listed as one of the 47 of the not most safest places to be. I mean, make it make sense.
It's funny that you say that, considering that Savannah is such a tourist city, and we announce all the time that we welcome our strangers in, but we want to welcome the strangers, but we don't do anything about our own community. You said you are a non-tradition. You say you are a non-traditionalist, but me as a person, I feel like I am a person about tradition. So I know you want to come in and shake things up, but are you open? So what are some old things that you recognize that's going on that you would like to keep, but what are some new things that you want to introduce?
That's a good question. It is. And I think that at the end of the day, what I have shown, even in my non-traditional ways, that I'm able to partner, collaborate, and go get that bag. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what it takes is diversity, right? Snap it on up. It takes diversity of someone that can understand and be able to talk the different languages of said community or even the city as a whole. I can go anywhere. They say, "Oh, say it again."
I say in case y'all don't realize she mean that code switch.
I'm sorry.
So well. I say in case they don't realize
yeah.
So well.
Right.
Say it one more time because it's going in and out.
I say code switch, as we call it, code switching. And I can end up.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes. I'll even put this out here. People know me. I have and still is. I carry such titles when it comes to the religious or church base here in Savannah that is very strong. Yes, I am a Christian. I do believe in God. I believe in Jesus. But at the same time, I believe that Christians gotta find, or religious folks or spiritual folks gotta find a way to come to the table and bring diversity. Because guess what? We holler about all the power that we got. Because if you truly got power, Jesus switched amongst anybody. He was the best code switcher I ever saw in my life. So if you're not ready to move with the people, you're not ready to be our next alderwoman or alder person. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Tia, you said a key piece about working together with people, whether they be on council or people in the community. How do you anticipate doing that? What are some strategies you have used before? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So I'll say, as even before I started through it all, TIA, when I first remember waking up in my community was when I first moved to Fraser Homes. And I started what we call the parent and children community outreach. Okay. And I was bringing different, not money, tangible money, but I was working with different people, partners, white, black, whatever you want to call them, to be able to bring different things to my community. And I wasn't a nonprofit. I was not a 501c3. So all I'm saying is imagine that for what I could do to growing to a physical 501c3, a LLC. I have the determination to make sure that we collaborate and partner with the right collaboration. I'm sorry, let me make that right. The righteous collaborations and the righteous partnerships, because these right and wrong people keep bringing development to our community that don't allow us to stay in our communities. I'm just saying it how it needs to be said. If I move out of public housing, tell me, can I stay in my community, or any woman like me? We couldn't. Yeah. So I'm willing to be, again, non-traditional, but remembering traditions that I know, giving grace and mercy and room to my grandmother, who was a trailblazer in her own way in the city before she passed away, giving grace and mercy to my mother, my father, who all was born and raised here in Savannah, Georgia. And can I tell you that they didn't finish high school? They never went to college. So I'm standing on a platform where, and don't let me get even teary-eyed when I say this, you know what I'm saying? Because my parents are both older, 65 and 60, where they never got a chance for their voice to be heard. I'm that chance. I'm that opportunity, whether it looks traditional or non-traditional, I'm going to bring that. And I hope that answered that question, because I know that I am very passionate, powerful, and I inspire people and move them in directions that they be like, I never looked at it like that from that perspective. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say
Okay.
like this: as a part of being in my as a part of me as my organization, I'm youth centered. And my question to you right now is, how do you plan to bring more youth into the conversation? Because we have a lot of kids who have become young adults who are becoming of voting age, and they're starting to see what's going on, and some of them want to get involved, and they're concerned about what's going on. So how do you plan to relate to them and get them involved in the conversation?
Sure. And you, as you know, though, I deal with marginalized, at-risk children, right? With running a totally free summer camp to them and their families, or providing after-3 care for them, or even taking them on field trips. And so with that, though, I've been able to connect with them, even by my own children who are 15 and 17. They go to Savannah High School, giving shout out to Savannah High. We just celebrated homecoming. That didn't end so well either, can I say, last night. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole fight broke out at the school, on the field and everything. And so, but my biggest goal is that we need to get these kids to a place where we can open the floor for them to talk and us listen. That's the first thing. Yeah, because we do a lot of talking to them and at them, but we don't listen to them.
Correct.
And that's always, that's been always, and that's been always my goal, because that's how kids kind of hang on to Miss Tia, because they know they gonna see me at the club, they gonna see me at church, they gonna see me lighting a CBD. You know what I'm saying? They gonna see me. And that's how you begin to open conversations, because every child, what I'm learning is, and dealing with the city of Savannah right now, they break these kids up in categories. Yeah, from them being the worst to not being the worst to being the best kids. That's how they break them up. Yeah. And so what we got to do is stop breaking them up, because the ones that you consider to be so in that right position, baby, if you look under their cover, they got some stuff. That's why they committing suicide privately and all kind of stuff. Okay. And then our kids that are in the middle, they are the ones that's really helping adults see what's going on.
Yeah.
But we don't know how to use them, though. And then the ones that we consider so worse or really off the chart, ain't nobody really listening to them. It's abuse happening for them. It's all kind of manners of stuff that's happening, but there's nobody there that say, you know what, I'm not here to talk to you. I'm here to listen to you. And then after I listen to you, I'm here to help you heal. And then after I help you heal, I ain't just trying to put you in the workforce. Maybe you might got some entrepreneur skills that you can develop or grow. That's how I have been able. And I know somebody made this comment about all you see is her and her kids. But guess what, though? My kids lead me to more kids. Now, they may not all want to be on social media because they private. But those that give me signature and say, Tia, Miss Tia, you can put me on social media, I do share them. Those that don't give me permission, I don't share them. So I hope that answers your question on how I relate to our young people and how they are attached to me. They love me. I need a bigger vehicle just to deal with them.
Okay. Let me ask you something. So how has your ground game been going? You know, out there talking to the people, knocking on doors and greeting people at the stores and that's in your district. Have you been getting a good reception from the people? I
have. My businesses that know me, that have given to my business, they say yes to me. My residents, they say yes to me. I am working on a tour of the district. I will say that I am working on a tour, and I have it broken down in precincts to go actually knock on doors. And so that is my next move. After you saw that I did just do a Dining for Change, a dinner sale, which did really good. Now I can go purchase signs. I can get signs, put it out there with the rest of the candidates or the incumbents.
Okay.
Gotcha. I'm gonna kind of hop around on our list, but I think I know the answer to this. But tell us your perspective and thoughts around the weeping time.
For real, for real, for real. I was just in a setting where they said preserve Savannah State. But before you can preserve Savannah State, you got to preserve our history of slavery. You got to go there first. You got to talk about, like I say, I'm not that much removed from the slavery or the racism that our people dealt with. Before my grandmother passed away, she did not heal from the racism and the stuff that she dealt with. But I've been able to heal, but saying that it does exist is here. Slavery in some aspects, in some modern day systematic things, it does exist. And so we sitting here acting like things, and I get it. People say, Tia, you smile so much. I do. Because guess what? First of all, I'm going to smile because I want you to know that even in my smiling, that don't mean I don't know who you are. That don't mean that I don't discern who you are and what you're trying to do to African American people or Black people as I know them, though, as I know them. Because each African American or Black person, when we talk, we know it from the generation that we know this from, the hate that we know it from.
Right.
My people shield us really good from the things that I'm unveiling now, working with the weeping time, things that make my stomach go, ugh. You understand what I'm saying? That's that right there. And if you don't get that in your stomach, that means that you okay with somebody owning somebody. You okay for all these people dying at the hands of other people. We're not okay with that. And so I've already told the weeping time that if in office and already off of office, I support them and have been supporting them, go to meetings, go in the field, whatever they need me to do to say and talk about those 400 plus people, I'm here. How would you bring medical resources to the community and individuals in need? I'm sorry, I just was reading a question that somebody put up there. But I know we questions later, and I wanted to give it organic like I was told, because when we brought in these spaces, even now just watching the form, it wasn't organic. You understand what I'm saying? And what I want to bring y'all is authentic. You know what I'm saying? Be my general self, that this is what I'm running on. This is why I'm running. It's not for me to get back or revenge anybody, and it ain't even personal. It's that when I look at things, there's no change. Mm-hmm. In 4 years, there's no change.
But go ahead and respond to Ms. Thornton. I mean, that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so listen, y'all know that at the end of the day, and I don't know if you do know, but go research this. Lupus, it's real. Fibromyalgia, it's real. Diabetes, it's real. We burying our loved ones mostly in African American communities because there are no medical resources that will help us towards goals of holistic health. There are goals here set to give us medicine. There's goals to get the doctor paid and to get those type of benefits back to the person that owns the pharmacy. I know what I'm talking about because I went before one of our Congress people advocating for people like myself that's diagnosed with lupus. So first of all, I'm willing to go to the Capitol for medical resources, not just local, because that ain't a local fight. That's a national fight. To be able to bring those resources and have hold accountable certain medical resources that's already here that are not given to us in a way where we can communicate with the doctor and the doctor communicate with us what's best for our health, and not them just writing you a prescription,
right, or
checking off a list because you came to their doctor's appointments. I'm willing to hold any of our medical facilities here accountable. And I mean off my job, outside of being an older woman. So I hope that did answer your question.
You know, it's it's funny because we used to be a really holistic people, but it was a lot of what we know was snatched from us. Like I
Mhm.
remember, like I had a conversation with one of my coworkers just yesterday about the fact she was like, "Oh, my ankle swelling," and I told her something simple as I said, "Go get you some red clay and vinegar and make a little paste and put it on, and your swelling gonna go down." She talking about where you
Mhm.
get that from. I said, "I got it from my grandmama. My grandma used to do that for us all the time when she was living." I say it's simple stuff like
Mhm.
that where we don't have to go and ingest all this chemical based stuff to heal. But you mentioned that you want to get more holistic into it. That's not gonna come from the doctor. I feel like that's more of a we have to find a resource within the community or people that we know who's willing to come and teach the community.
And guess what? If you know me, I'm all about education. So I offline also bring those educations to people holistically, right? Because at the end of the day, I know there are some things that from the national to the state, they just won't agree with. But if you bring it at the people's level, then the people start spreading it to their people, then that's where that change. That's why I say outside of my older person's position is where also I will continue to work to make sure that I'm not just teaching prescriptions, I'm teaching holistic living. But I already do that in my nonprofit. As a co-founder, that's why I created those spaces just for women health. Women, because it starts with our women, they teach our families. It's our men too, but right now, if you look at it, women are majority leading households. So empower your women so they can empower your children to empower your men.
I think Julius, you're on mute.
I don't know why I was. Oh, somebody had called me. That's why. We got a question here that um, Mr. Ellis said that he liked you and how can we help her? So I guess she'll be giving out her
Oh,
information after a while, and the candidate will give all that information out, what website and everything, and how you can donate to a campaign. And Mr. White said, "Can you assure voters that you won't be a rubber stamp like Dietrich Leggett?"
and I'll say this to you. I can assure you that I am someone that don't need to be brought, because that's what really a rubber stamp means. On yesterday, I did my own dinner sale to be able to get signs in the streets for me and my team. I worked alone while my people was on their jobs fixing almost 100 meals to get out of here. I'm nobody's rubber stamp. And if you don't know that, you need to come talk to me and meet me to know that I cannot be brought, will not be brought. My kids' lives depend on me riding this thing righteous. Righteous. That means that anything don't look like it's righteous, I ain't doing it because I'm not a rubber stamp. I'm just not. And so my friend Dietrich, my friend Dietrich, I said that. I don't have to show up in a space with a suit on to get you to understand who Tia is. I don't have to get to, connect to certain groups of people for you to know who I am. I've showed this to you all since I've been able to get off a walker in a cane. You understand what I'm saying? Rehabilitate myself to this place to say that I'm nobody's rubber stamp. However I am, I'm for the people. I'm for the people. The people need somebody that's going to be transparent in their leadership. They need somebody that's for the whole district and not part of the district. And then they need somebody that's really going to say, I want responsible growth for everybody. I don't care if you the poorest of poorest. I keep riding by a church with a homeless woman sleeping on the step right in my district. And if I had the monies that I know is on the way for me, I would take that sister, put her in a house, not even an apartment, and buy her anything and everything that she wants, because she's been sleeping there for almost going on, I know, for a year. A year she's been sleeping there, and you got an older person in place that pop up in my district, or I'm sorry, my community every now and again. But is he walking on that street with that church? He not. So I'm nobody's rubber stamp. However, I'm for the people. So I do apologize for that passionate thing, but I had to give it to you like that because rubber stamp, that's the problem with us. We get there and that's what we become. We become a tool that people can use. And not the righteous people, but the right and the wrong people use that too.
All right. I don't know where Robert went, but so the council seems to be doing the bidding of everybody except the underserved communities. It's almost like those communities that are underserved have been forgotten. The areas that are being taken care of don't need any maintenance. The maintenance that needs to be done, and when I say maintenance, I'm talking about care, that needs to be done is in the first, the fifth, the third, some of the second. How would you advocate to get this done?
So again, I talked about responsible growth. And when I think about responsible growth, I think about it from a citywide effort as well as district efforts. The reason why the current majority of the city council does not want responsible growth is because it benefits them. It benefits them in a place of keeping people silent that live in those same communities that you don't have growth, you don't have care, you don't have those things inside of those districts. It's because, again, their focus on responsible growth is the fact that it does benefit them more than it benefit the people. But responsible growth for me in the initiatives that I look to see is, say, for instance, I'll give an example. In some of the communities, right, taking by some of the houses or the houses that are empty in those communities, right, take and bring in about 3 local, I start with real estate agents, 3 local constructions or construction companies, or maybe somebody that you can even help develop into a construction company, meaning that they do it on the side as a side job, okay? That's what responsible growth looks like in those communities that are underserved, underrepresented right now in council. So those initiatives would be not wraparound services, but they'll be direct, because it's enough of the wraparound. The wraparound is causing people to be missed, but direct means that I'm coming to identify in the first, the fifth, and did you say the sixth?
The first, the fifth, the third,
and then some of the second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The problem is because you're not connected with the people there, or like somebody said today, when they were in a forum, they were saying basically, I want to help residents that are long living residents, right? That means there are natives of Savannah versus the visitors and the tourists that come in. I want to help the people that's been here. But in order to help the people that have been here that are underserved and marginalized, it's about direct. Do you know them directly? Do you know a single mother that's working 3 jobs to take care of her children and the kids don't have anybody to watch after them? Do you know a mother that her child is acting up in school, but she got to work and she need a mentor to go to the child's school? Direct, not wraparound. Not wraparound. Remove the middle person, this wraparound that we got going on, and somebody got to go direct. So my initiatives that I am forming on this side and on the other side, they're looking direct. So when the money comes to me, it goes directly into the community, back into businesses. First of all, African-American businesses, because they're struggling to get money.
Okay.
So that is what it would look like for my campaign if elected.
Robert?
I'm gonna let you all have it, but no, I'm just kidding. So Tia, tell us a little more about your nonprofit work and how you will use those transferable skills to be effective as a council person.
Sure. Thank you. So you know that I started my nonprofit again in 2019, coming from the workforce, disabled, fully disabled, receiving Social Security. I have been able to not just be a co-founder, but also I was the executive director until now when I had to relinquish my position to run for office. In that position, I was able to solidify city funding for all three of the pillars that we put out there to the community. I've been able to lead in fundraising efforts to continue making sure that money is there to make sure that my programs run. I hear people say often that I'm self-serving. I hear that. But we don't hold accountable CEOs that's living on 1.1 something million dollars. But we want to hold a single mother in public housing who was disabled, who out of her life said, listen, I need to co-found this nonprofit. Like y'all sending me to all these classes because I'm a graduate of Step Up Savannah NLA Neighborhood Leadership Academy. You send me the training. But then when I come back from training and I show you what I did with your training, now you mad at me. Make it make sense. Yeah, make it make sense. So the skills that I've been able to obtain, the education that I've been able to get through my nonprofit is really why I'm stepping up in the first place to run for office.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Next question. Any of y'all got it?
I don't even know. I mean, I heard what you said before, but I'm gonna give you the term what they always give me. You are a victim of your own success. They are punishing you because you are good at what you do. And that's not at first, when I heard the very first time that I heard that statement, I took it as a slam. And me and my manager was about to it when he said it. But now that I've progressed and I've gone along, I learned that's not a bad thing. It's just you're gonna always be for being you. It's always remain you. Like my new favorite quote that I just learned the other day: "Don't let my confidence bother your insecurities." I can't help that I stepped up and that I did something that progressing me and the people around me. I can't say what Robert. No, I would say something else, but I can't say what I would.
That'll be fine. That's it.
Like I tell him, if you don't like,
I received that though. I received that because a lot of times, to be honest, I be dimming my light. You know what I'm saying? Like I dim back sometimes because I be like, people do. But one thing I told one of my friends, it's a difference because people are disrespectful and they're bold in the wrong things. So people do step to me in their boldness in the wrong things to make me feel like I should doubt the things that I've been able to be successful in. But I'm learning more and more every day to just use them what they are for. You understand what I'm saying? I use them what they're for. Yeah. They're here to show me that really my light is bright. That's why you're uncomfortable. Yeah. The way that I talk, whether I smile, whether I tilt my head at you, whether you see me exercising and you know what I'm saying, that foresight part, you know what I'm saying? What sets you aside from the incumbent? How will you govern differently?
I didn't mean it.
I know because they hitting me back and forth. They hit me back and forth. I know that what sets me aside from the incumbent is the fact that I've been able to show y'all that I'm different though. Because we could talk a lot. That mouth moves a lot, but what are you doing? Who can really say, man, you know what I'm saying? For Tia, you know what I'm saying? I was able to, I'm talking about people that's on disability. That on disability, they can't even survive off that one check a month. So they got to go and get another something so they can bring in stuff just to feed themselves. Who was there with the people when the people food stamps was cut off? I was there. You know why? Because I was the same mama with the food stamps cut off. I was the same one fighting with the Department of Family and Children Services, not just for me, but for seniors, for mothers. That's what set me aside different from him. You know, that's it. Is that I'm able to say to the people, I'm for you because I know what you're going through. I'm for you because I know that I'm coming out of something that you may or may not be in. I'm for you because guess what? At the end of the day, even when the people that are in the system are rude to us, and I still show them nothing but love, and then my outcome is favorable to me, I can come back and teach you how to get to them. Yeah, that's how I'm different. Miss Tanya, I hope that answered your question. Because she is. I am definitely one of the people, Miss Melinda. Definitely.
We have a question
Definitely.
from Mr. Housing.
Uh-huh.
So if elected, how would you work to ensure organizations similar to SCAD that utilize our resources greatly pay their fair share?
Thank you for asking that question. And I don't know that y'all know. You're welcome, Miss Tanya. I have reached out to SCAD on several times to work with SCAD to be able to bring some of my programs to their buildings. Each time I have not been successful. You know why? It's because nobody will hold SCAD truly accountable. They scared to because it brings them too much money. If elected, SCAD got to. Just like my little nonprofit, my little public housing office front nonprofit pays our fair share, why shouldn't SCAD pay theirs? So if elected, yes, I believe that SCAD, with all their power that they feel that they got, should be held accountable.
Sounds good.
But I only can do that if you elect me. I only can do it if you give me that type of power, because that's what that is.
You know, it's funny that you say that. I heard somebody say the reason why they like SCAD was because SCAD came in and they developed the community, the buildings. They took like these old buildings in Savannah and progressed them. But I say the one thing that I told them, I said the one thing that you got to realize is that once the city of Savannah sells these buildings to SCAD, they become up under SCAD's 501c3 status. They don't pay taxes on the property. So now you may have made money off selling the building to them, but the income, the taxable income that you could have received from selling the building to something else or just developing it into something else yourself is now lost.
Just like that. Just like that. But you have businesses in this district that need to hear from our alderperson, and our alderperson needs to hear from them. I don't just go to church on Sundays. I go to the club too. And you have businesses in this district. I'm telling you, because we can't just be stereotyping, talking about you going to church on Sundays, but that's the only businesses in your district. That's the only people in your district is the people that you see on Sundays. I don't think so. There's so many people in this district, so many businesses in this district. How are you making sure that you as an alderperson give them responsible growth, hearing and listening from all people?
I'm gonna say I like what you said because we've become to a point where we're in a different time era now, and it used to be that when you were an elected official, there was just stereotype of what you were supposed to do, certain places you weren't supposed to go. And the fact that we are not dealing with it, especially now with the younger generation, we deal with a generation they don't get at all. So the fact that you can acknowledge that we gotta infiltrate these spaces where other people are besides church, besides these community meetings where a few people show up, places where the people actually go and interact with them, because you might see somebody in, like you say, out about at the club, that they might have an issue. If you take 5 minutes to talk to them while you there, they feel like okay, we got somebody who's here for me. I honestly really like that aspect.
All right, we got a few more.
How would you work to
That's a good question. Yeah.
National stage. Whoa, that's really cool right there. So do you? I have taken just my nonprofit, right, on the stage of River Street, where I was exposing kids to what was in their city. All kind of people come from everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? That is the what is missing in my district, though. I feel like the gaps are closed because they're not bridged, right? They're not bridged. Like you have the tourism industry, but it's almost like you're trying to keep the tourism industry separate from the residents. But if you were to bring them together, that's international. How do you know that, Tia? From working with the grants of the city of Savannah, whenever they ask me how many number of tourisms did you connect with?
Wow.
That is a question on the grant application. International is sometimes so many 1, 2, 3 steps from you, but you think it's because it's in Paris. That's the only way you're supposed to see it. So it's almost like you got to be intentional. I've been intentional to make sure, and I'll give them a shout out, Unity in the Community, Craig and Sharon Butts. When I go and they take my nonprofit and put it on River Street and my young people, I meet people from everywhere that say, I will give to you, and they do give to us. They call and ask us, do we need art supplies? That's international, and international happens by exposure, connecting again that tourism to your residents. Because right now, when I look at it, it's a division of them, and they're separate, but they need to merge together. They have to expose each other. That's the only way it's going to last. Because our history, and I saw a question what somebody else asked about, how do I plan on ensuring the historic parts of Savannah? Maybe I may be not reading it right, but my biggest thing is the Weeping Time needs a tour connected to it. That in itself, internationally, the Weeping Time have brought people from all across the world. People everywhere join just to know how they can help with the Weeping Time. You got to be intentional. If you're not intentional, then it becomes, again, I'm just holding a seat. I'm staging a seat for the next 4 years of when y'all get ready to vote for me.
All right.
And hold up, wait a minute. Let me add this. MLK Day should be just as hype as St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. We bring people from MLK, bring people from all over, but we do not hype it the way that we do St. Patrick's Day. That is another way for international exposure.
I agree. All right, Tia, we're going to run to a commercial break, and we'll be back in about 1 minute. Y'all hold tight.
All right.
You've been quiet. We're back. You have a question for Ms. Brightwell?
Yeah. Your thoughts on term limits. What do you think about term limits?
I think that term limits is not transparent in this. Why I feel like you're asking me that is because of what recently took place on council. But I do think term limits are needed in a way where you can have some transparency to the people. But however, I also believe that we need to let people have more than 1 year. I mean, well, 1 term, 4 years in office, because you're just getting there. The people are just getting to know you, and you're trying to implement all of these ideas. But at the same time, if you're not working in your 4 years, you should move. You should be willing to move from that 4 years. So I think that it's a hard place when it comes to term limits. It really is. I'm sorry. It's a hard place. It's something that does need to be enforced. But again, people need time to get into these positions and really affect change. Now, we did give, and I saw this, and the reason I'm saying this is because somebody said, well, Dietrich, Linda, so they said the same thing, right? When they got in office, and they flipped. And somebody else came back and said, well, Tia has integrity. I promise you, if you only give me 4 years, that's all I need. Look at my track record. Look at my record. It proves that since 2019 until now, what have I been able to accomplish? So I just think that that's a touchy subject. That's all.
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. Usually like I feel like the first term that anybody takes office, they're cleaning up the mess of their predecessor. They're cleaning up the mess of their predecessor, dealing with the issues of their predecessor, and now they're trying to implement the stuff that they want. Since the term limit is since the term limit is 4 years, I feel like 20 years is like 20 years, like 5 terms is like the max that anybody should serve. That's usually like a generation. That's like a generational gap. Do you feel like that's a adequate amount of time for somebody to do what they need to do and then begin to pass the torch?
Yeah. One thing when I came on the scene, probably like about 2015, about some stuff that I was doing with another ministry, one of the candidates approached me and said that they used to work on campaigns like when they were like 15 years old, right? When they were young. And that's what inspired them to run for office. But to be honest, we don't have that same transparency right now when it comes to candidates. They're not willing to train our young people to get ready in 5 years to take office, or whoever, a single mom, I don't care who it is that take office, they also have to be willing to put in the work to say mentorship people in my candidacy. So I think that I'm okay with 5 years, because by 5 years, you should have been done a whole lot of stuff, trained a whole lot of people, mentor so many more people to be able to step up and say, I'm ready to run in that position, or I'm ready to take office to make change. But not coaching people in the same traditional stuff that you got going on, cycles that you got going on, that when they take office, they keep flipping on the people. That's what we got. You got people grooming the wrong people to flip on people when they get in office.
Okay, you had another question. Your thoughts on Yamacraw being torn down?
It shouldn't.
Okay. You want to elaborate?
It shouldn't. I think that I work well and not so well with housing authority in the system because I am a resident. There are things that housing authority does and is doing that residents don't agree with. When we speak out about it, though, sometimes we get lashed back on. I know what that feels like firsthand. Yamacraw should not be torn down. You should go in there and spend that money to make sure and preserve it so that people can live there. But again, is it intentional? Is it for tourism's sake? I mean, why are we talking about tearing down a place where majority are women and children that need a place to lay their heads?
Okay. You got my vote. I mean, I can't vote over this.
I wish you could. But tell your people in the second district. Yeah, and tell the people in the second district, say, make sure you vote for Tia Brightwell, November 7th, 2023.
Brightwell, November 2nd. That what they
Nope, November 7th.
November 7th. Yeah. See.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got about
Mhm.
4 minutes. Anybody got any last questions?
Carlton. If not, Tia, is there anything that you wanted to share that we did not ask?
Not really, guys. Y'all know I'm always like making sure to just educate myself and get in a space where I can learn and grow for the betterment of not just the community, but also for my family. You know what I'm saying? Because they are also a part of that community. And so I just think that the more that I grow, the more that I educate, the more that I give, you know what I'm saying? That right there is change, you know what I'm saying, for a better second district, a second district. Yes, ma'am. How can you contribute? My Cash App is Cash App Elect Tia for the People. And then I can also give you my website for right now. You can go to app.gohighlevel.com, and that is going to be my website. And let me see if I was trying to share it in y'all group chat,
Is that
but
correct?
it didn't let me. But yes, that is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Elect Tia for the People, and my picture should come up with me standing in front of Frazier Homes Community. That's right. Yes, sir. I'm excited. Somebody say, girl, you seem too comfortable over there in Frazier Homes. It's not about that. I refuse to downgrade because I want a house in the second district. I want a beautiful house in the second district where I also used to spend my days as a girl. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the second district from Henry Street to Duffy Street. My grandmother used to sell, they used to sell dinners. They used to be singing at Peaceful Zion Baptist Church. I grew up in the second district. So don't miss it when you talk about, oh, she lived in the second district. I am the second district.
All
Yeah.
right.
I hear you. That's perfect.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
that's your
Well, thank
closing.
y'all.
That's your closing remarks.
Well, Mr. Hall, you got me on that hot seat, but my closing remarks is just make sure you go to that poll. And you can't see the sign behind me, but on some of my signages, it says, make it a family plan to vote. Take your family with you, man. Yeah, take your family to the polls and tell them to vote, vote, vote. Whether they got to be with the mayor at large or districts in November 7th. And then for those who have a special election coming up on September 19th in the second district countywide, go to the polls and vote, please. Please. And I'm telling you this only because I chose to step up. I stepped up. Go vote. Tell your family to vote. Tell your cousin them to vote. Tell everybody to vote. Say vote.
That's right.
That's my closing remarks, Mr. Hall.
Are you sure that Cash App is Elect Tia for the People? I was checking it to make sure. But that don't pop
Mr.
up.
Hall, you sure about that? Can you still hear me? Wait.
Let me see.
It's one that pop up that say Tia Z Brightwell. Elect Tia's Brightwell. Tia Z Brightwell.
Do you see her photo?
Yeah, her photo standing behind the sign.
Okay.
It says Elect Tia Z Brightwell. Elect Tia Z Brightwell.
Oh, Tia Z.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Okay. Would y'all happen to know when is the last day for people to register to vote here for the election?
I think it's passed.
So October 20th is the one for November. Is the last, yeah. So you got to be by October 20th. But I did put my Cash App in the chat also, and I'm also putting my website in the chat as well for y'all. Okay, and I do appreciate
what
you put it in the chat. Right, that's the right one.
Right.
That's the one I saw.
And she's about to post her. Here we go.
Okay.
On your website. Hold on. Let her send her website through. Waiting.
I don't know. The reason why I asked because I seen a whole tour bus yesterday campaigning to register Black voters. That's why I asked. Just so people are aware, if you will turn 18 before even the day before the election, please go ahead and register yourself to vote because you can still partake in the vote. at that point. Kids that are coming of age, then they're not at that age right now, but they will be right before election. Go ahead and register them, and they will be able to vote when election comes.
Yeah, and I did put my website and my Cash App in that in the chat. Okay.
All right.
And it'll take you right there. And I appreciate y'all for allowing me this platform. I really do.
All right. Well, it'll be replayed a couple of times. We also have Taylor Washington coming on also later on in the week, next in a week or so.
Yes. Sir.
And both of y'all are great candidates that should be able to help replace Dietrich, because we know where y'all heart is. We don't know where Dietrich Caucus is, but we know where y'all hearts are. And
yes, sir.
And Dietrich used to call me every day complaining about Van. Now he's Van's bodyguard. And I don't like a person who is two-faced and used me to get what he wanted and then changed on me. And not just on me, on all the people, but me especially, because it's personal. So let's replace Dietrich in 2024. Anybody got any last words or last?
Yes, sir.
I think you did a wonderful job. Thank you for being on.
All right.
Thank y'all for having me.
When the spirit moves, let the spirit move. I want to thank you for coming on and sharing a little bit about yourself and allowing us to know a little bit about who you are and where you stand. And I will say you thoroughly gave me a thorough explanation about where you stand and what you plan on doing. So I hope the best. But the one thing I want to tell you, you made a statement earlier, is when I get there later, we're going to change that narrative right quick. Because like I tell R.G. Brian Bobby down there, I will sit in next week in November.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. I will sit in that seat.
That's right.
All right, guys.
Well,
have a good day.
Great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
like that.